The Panda Cup kicked off in dramatic fashion this weekend in Daytona Beach, Florida with CEO 2022, the inaugural event of the first ever Nintendo licensed Super Smash Bros. Tournament circuit. 651 players were playing not only for a legendary CEO championship belt, but also 3 qualifying spots for this December's Panda Cup finale. It was an instant classic, with a surprise winner, fully formed redemption arcs, and upsets on upsets on upsets. We'll take you through all of that and more with our CEO 2022 recap. On June 23, 1991, Sonic the Hedgehog was released for the Sega Genesis with one very simple premise: gotta go fast. And 31 years later, Sonix flew to CEO 2022 with that same thought in mind to obliterate some of the best Smash players in the entire world. The Dominican Republic's top-ranked player had a pretty easy cruise through winners' pools, with commanding wins over the mighty Dialga and Dominator putting the tournament's number 4 overall seed into winners' top 32. And when he went up 2-0 over the North Carolina and Ohio Younglink main Toast, it looked like that would continue, but Toast had other ideas, pulling off a reverse 3-0, taking the set, and securing one of the biggest upsets of the tournament with an upset factor of 5. Game 5 of his loss to Toast would be the last game that Sonix would lose until Grand Finals. Sonix went down to losers round 2 of top 32 and flattened his opponents. He 3-0'd Riku, who, in an awful stroke of bracket luck, lost to the first and second place finishers of the tournament for 17th. Then Fatality and ZD to make it to Sunday's top 8. Then, once he was there, he 2-stocked 3 of WaDi's very deep bag of characters: Rob, Mewtwo, and Ice Climbers. Then he disposed of Tweak, Sephiroth, and Diddy Kong, and he utterly sapped Buzz's will to live in a 3-0, including a timeout in Game 1 and a 2-stock in Game 3, securing him a spot at the Panda Cup Finals and giving him another shot at Toast. There was no reverse 3-0 this time, as Sonix was able to make the necessary adjustments and win in his 7th 3-0 in a row to put him into Grand Finals. Riddles put up more of a fight than everyone else in his first ever major Grand Finals, going up 2-1 in both sets of Grands, but Sonix's proven ability to play the long game prevailed in the end, and he was able to take both sets in Game 5 to win his first ever major, with his previous largest offline bracket win being Level Up Expo 2022, an event with almost 300 fewer players. This tournament was the breakout that Sonix and his fans had been waiting for. After a string of top 12 finishes at tournaments like Pound 2022, MomoCon, the Smash World Tour Finals, and last year's CEO, we finally got to see Sonix go from the guy who could beat anyone to the guy who beats everyone. His 15-set domination puts him at the 4th most sets to win an offline tournament ever, behind only MKLeo's Frostbite 2020 and Evo 2019 runs with 17 sets, and Zachary's 16-set Umebura 7 run. What makes this run stand out, though, is Leo's runs were both with Joker, as were Zachary's, and each of the other runs in the top 8 longest, belonging to Light, Spargo, and Nairo, were done with pretty rushed-down heavy characters in Fox, Cloud, and Palu. Sonix is playing Sonic, the quintessential timeout character in Ultimate, and still has the mental stamina to play in 15 sets against some of the best players in the world, including a grueling 10-game Grand Finals with 2 different comebacks that went to last hit. And when it's all over, there's no pop-off, just a sigh of relief, a readjustment of his mask, and a fist bump as he wraps up his controller and walks away into the hostile Florida crowd. Sonix is, in the realest of ways, just built differently than his opponents. His mental stamina is seemingly unlimited, and with him piloting a character like Sonic that can bring people to the ends of their wits faster than he can get from one side of the stage to the other, there is no limit to how far he can go. As the 20th seed, Sonic surpasses Zachary at the Big House 9 as the lowest seed to ever win an S or A tier equivalent event. One can be pretty sure he won't be seeded that low again anytime soon. Like any good story, there were plenty of redemption arcs that took place over the course of the weekend at CEO. The first one belonged to Toast, who was always one of Ultimate's most underrated players, but especially in the lost PGRU Season 3, the handful of tournaments that took place between January and March of 2020. He won 3 regionals, got 2nd at Just Roll With It 12, 5th at Clash of the Carolinas 5, 7th at Frostbite 2020, a 1,200 person event, and also notched strong finishes at Let's Make Big Moves and Glitch 8. But obviously that season never counted for a PGR, or any other official ranking, and since then Toast hadn't quite been able to replicate that level of success. That all changed this weekend. Toast finished 3rd with an obscene +6 SPR and a total upset factor of 13, clocking in wins over Choco Taco, Dunquavius, Sonix, Aaron, and most impressively, the tournament's #1 overall seed, Tweak, a matchup with an upset factor of 8 and a runback of their set from Let's Make Big Moves, which, according to Toast, went to last hit and had haunted him ever since. After his win on Tweak, he got pasted by Riddles, who also had his best ever performance in a major with a 2nd place finish, and lost the run back to Sonix. But by then, he had already proven that he and Young Link are serious metagame threats in 2022. Mars's return from the depths of content creation to top-level play continues apace, as he was able to build on his previous 2 major performances at the Gimvitational and Genesis 8. With a 5th place finish that highlighted the strength of his Zero Suit Samus after his Joker got most of the spotlight at the Gimvitational. After losing a Game 5 nail-biter to Road Warrior Sean and his fancy new box-style controller in the round of 48, he snapped off an impressive loser's run of his own with almost entirely Zero Suit Samus. He beat D-Dog, Peebnut, and Aaron, who showed off a secret Pyra in their set, to make top 8. Then he destroyed MVD 3-0 to make it 7 set wins in a row for the Rhode Island native against MVD, and taking their game count to 21-4 in that span. MVD even switched to Diddy Kong for 2 games, a Diddy Kong that had only been used in 3 tournament games ever and hadn't seen tournament use since the Big House 9 in October of 2019, almost 3 full years ago. Speaking of Diddy Kong, Aaron bounced back from a 49th place finish at MomoCon where he lost to Suarez and Vivid with a huge showing in his home state, finishing 9th and continuing his recent yo-yo-esque trajectory. This is Aaron's 15th major since the return of Offline Smash in June of 2021. In that time, he's finished 5th, 7th, 65th, 9th, 13th, 129th, 13th, 17th, 49th, 65th, 65th, 9th, 13th, 49th, and then 9th. It's difficult to analyze Aaron sometimes because of how inconsistent he is, but what's not up for debate is that he is immensely talented. Aaron beat J-Jaw, Fatality, and Zomba on his run to 9th, and only lost to Mars and Toast in what tend to be 2 rough matchups for Diddy Kong. His run would be impressive for any top player, but it was especially impressive because he was seeded 28th, a seeding that was called disrespectful by some of his fellow Floridians, and Aaron proved them right. Maryland Fox Wolfmane ZD has long been known as the world's best player at a local level, winning 19 brackets of more than 50 players in 2021 and taking sets off of names like Zomba, Tilde, Ling, and MPG at various locals and regionals in the Mid-Atlantic. But this weekend, he was able to show why he was ranked in Area 51 in the first PGR, with wins over Logo, Zeta, and D-Dog on his way to 9th place, only losing to the respective 1st and 4th place finishers, Sonix and DeBuzz. This is ZD's best major result since his 3rd place finish at CEO Dreamland in 2020, the last big tournament before the COVID lockdown. And speaking of players who had their best performance since the return of Offline Smash, we also have fellow MDVA native WaDi, who finally made his first post-lockdown top 8 at a major after 9th place finishes at Riptide and CEO 2021, and 13th place finishes at Super Smash Con Fall Fest and Let's Make Big Moves 2022. WaDi used his trusty Rob and Mewtwo along with Icy's, Banjo, and Rosalina to make it to top 8. He's been adding to his ever-expanding pockets recently, and even threw out on Twitter the idea of becoming the counterpick god. So, who knows? Maybe the player who gained notoriety by being the #1 Rob and Mewtwo player in Smash 4 could follow in the footsteps of Ultimate's other wildcards like Tweak, Rizeyasu, and Zachary to become unstoppable. That being said, it wasn't just top players that got to get in on the fun with deep runs and upsets. You, like the letter, a player who is virtually unknown outside of Saskatchewan, Canada, and currently has a whopping 5 Twitter followers, was seeded 304th. Well, he paid that absolutely zero mind, causing the 2 biggest upsets in the entire losers bracket, beating Jigs and Omart along with Arkma, Muddy Kips, Lito, and Fortunato to finish 33rd. Yu was projected to lose their first set in winners and go 1-2 in the bracket, but finished 1 set away from top 32 at Florida's biggest tournament of the year so far, proving that anyone can make a run if they just decide that it's their day. J12 beat Sem and Mr. Sensei to finish 33rd against his 82nd seed, a +2 SPR made even more impressive by the fact that he announced his retirement in March, with CEO serving as his last major that he plans on grinding for. Besides the toast upset over Tweak, the largest upset of the weekend over a top player was courtesy of PGstats' very own lead editor, Bobby Wasabi, a villager player from New England and now residing in SoCal. Bobby beat Myron 2-1 to knock the #6 overall seed into losers early in top 128. After falling to D-Dog, he beat Odyssey to make top 32 and secure an SPR of +2. Way to go, Bobby. Finally, we have some small statistics of note from the Panda Cup's first stop. It's time for some quick hits. First, of the players that made top 16, 14 of them were from the United States. The other 2 met in grand finals. Number 2, Tweak didn't drop a single game in his first 7 sets, going all Sephiroth until top 8. Then once he made top 8, he won 2 games for the rest of the tournament, losing to Toast and Sonix for 5th place. Third, there were 4 Steves in top 64 of CEO, but that pales in comparison to the 6 Robs in top 32 alone, meaning that almost 1 out of every 5 players to make top 32 at CEO played Rob. This makes the robot by far the most common of the Ultimate characters and lands in between Melee Fox at 11 and Melee Falco at 5 as the second most common pick in top 32 of any character across both Smash games played at CEO. And finally, number 4. CEO 2022 is the 3rd largest tournament in the post-lockdown era where the winner has never been on the PGRU. It sits behind Kagaribi number 7, a 769-person bracket won by Akola, and Collision 2022, a 749-person tournament won by Spargo. Now that's some pretty strong company for Sonix. While CEO was far from the only tournament of the weekend, it was the one with the most on the line. This is the first open major of the new PGR season, and players like Sonix and Riddles have put themselves into a good place going into Gommel and Double Down over the next 2 weeks. They also, along with Toast, secured spots in December's Panda Cup finale. Will they be able to replicate that success with more North American and international talent coming to take the crown? We're heading into a busy summer, with plenty of majors left to be played and another 29 spots in the Panda Cup finale still up for grabs. Stay tuned and we'll keep you posted, with updates, interviews, and recaps on everything here at PGstats. Check out our website at PGstats.com and follow us on Twitter at PGstats so you don't miss a thing. I've been Kimona, and from everyone here at PGstats, we'll see you next time.